welcome you all. Today we'll discuss about a very known and another popular concept of accounts, that is known as depreciation. Depreciation means a decrease in the value of an asset. When you used an asset for a time again, that is known as depreciation. Many of you must be having your own vehicles. Am I right, students? Many of you having Activa, motorcycles, your Bullet, car, right? Can anyone tell me, is it of the same worth the day when you purchase it? Suppose if your Bullet cost you about 78,000 2 years back, do you think it is of 78,000 at present also? Our economy put emphasis on that value of a particular commodity, especially an asset, decreases when you keep on using it. Because if you keep on using it, it gets damaged, spoiled, right? It's wear and tear of particularly of that asset reduces its value. So such a reduction is known as depreciation. So first of all, we'll start with the outline of the chapter. Here we'll discuss about the meaning, features, causes and objectives for providing depreciation, factors or basis of providing depreciation, methods of recording depreciation, methods of charging depreciation, difference between straight line method and written down value method, and the last one is asset disposal account. Before starting with the chapter, first of all, let us understand about the learning objectives of this chapter. To understand the concept of depreciation, to comprehend methods of calculating depreciation charges, to identify the factors to be considered when choosing a depreciation method, to determine the impact on profits by using different depreciation methods. Mr. Wilson bought a Ford Figo car on January 1, 2015. On the day of purchase, it cost him $20,000. As per a survey, its value decreases by 10% every year. After 3 years, he wanted to calculate its present value because he wants to sell it. When he calculated it, its value was $14,580. And it was after 3 years of its purchase. He sold it for $16,000, having a profit of $1,420. So, here we can conclude depreciation means a decrease in value over time. Cars are a very common example to explain the concept of depreciation. The rate of depreciation is often given as a percentage. A car was bought for $20,000. Its value depreciated by 10% each year for 3 years. First year depreciation upon $20,000 is $2,000. So its value remains $18,000. In second year, when you apply 10% on $18,000, your depreciation comes out $1,800. But the value of the car would be $16,200. In the third year, when you want to sell it, again you apply 10% on $16,200 and its value comes out $1,620. So its new value is $14,580. So here, as per the calculations, the value of depreciation is 2,000, 1,800 and 1,620. That is a total of $5,420. Depreciation is reduction in the value of an asset due to its wear and tear. First of all, let us understand the concept of depreciation. Depreciation is an accounting method of allocating the cost of a tangible or physical asset over its useful life or life expectancy. Depreciation represents how much of an asset's value has been used up. Depreciating assets help companies earn revenue from an asset while expensing a portion of its cost each year the asset is in use. If not taken into account, it can greatly affect profits. Businesses can depreciate long-term assets for both tax and accounting purposes. For example, companies can take a tax reduction for the cost of the asset, means it reduces taxable income. However, the Internal Revenue Service, that is IRS, it states that when depreciating assets, companies must spread the cost out over time. IRS also has rules for when companies can take a deduction. Next, features of depreciation. Here we can give related examples with every point. Depreciation is only charged on non-current assets. Like when you charge it on non-current assets, suppose land, building, vehicles, plant, machinery, equipments. So these are some assets on which depreciation is charged. Depreciation occurs from the date of purchase of an asset till the last day of its estimated useful life. Suppose if you buy a refrigerator, right? You buy it, suppose I bought it in the year 2016. Now, if depending upon the quality, the usage, how much it is used, you can say here its quality or its usage can be up to 10 years. So it is estimated useful life. So depreciation occurs from the year 2016 and it will last up to year 2026. Next point, the amount of annual depreciation cannot be exact as it has to be estimated. So here you can say that every year it is not possible that same rate of depreciation should be charged. Due to changes in economic policies, government rules and regulations, taxable incomes, loans, rates, depreciation may be verified. It represents gradual and continuous reduction in the value of asset. Depreciation means decrease. So as long as you keep on using a particular asset, we are using our vehicles, we are living in a big house or we are living in a small house, the day when you buy it or the day when you constructed it, it will get depleted day by day. Its usage will get depleted. You need to repair it again and again so that its value keep on increasing. Depreciation is charged against income of the relevant accounting periods over the useful life of the assets. When you charge depreciation over an asset, it increases its useful life because you know how much worth I have used and how much worth I can use it in future also. Depreciation does not consider fluctuations in market value of assets. It doesn't matter whether your asset is increasing or decreasing in the market. Depreciation is charged on every particular asset which you possess. For example, class, all of you have your own mobile phones, right? You know, today I bought a phone, suppose Redmi Pro. I have bought it for say 15 or 16,000. 2 days after, when I check the price, it may be 14,000. 3 days after, it may be 14,500. So there are fluctuations in the market value of assets. So it doesn't matter that your own phone which you possess will not depreciate. Next is the concept of land. Is land depreciable? Land is a non-current asset. It's a fixed asset, but it is not depreciated. You all know, suppose if you buy a plot of land today, you all know that its value will increase. Let me take an example. The house in which you are living, you just ask your parents that when they bought it, it was just rupees 2.5 lakhs, it was rupees 4 lakhs, it was rupees 6 lakhs, right? And now its value is 40 lakhs, 45 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 54 lakhs, right? So land is never depreciated because land is assumed to have unlimited useful life. Land is a long-term asset, not a current asset, because it is expected to be used by the business for more than 1 year. Since land's life is not limited, one cannot depreciate property for personal use and assets held for investment. Other long-lived assets such as land, improvements, buildings, furnishings, equipment, etc. have limited useful lives. Therefore, the cost of those assets must be allocated to those limited accounting periods. Now, let us talk about some lease agreements. Lena has a 1-year lease on the apartment where she has lived for 5 months. When her stove, included in the lease, stops working properly, Lena contacts the landlord asking that it is to be repaired. The landlord sent a repairman. Lena, who has been unable to prepare meals for the past 2 weeks without a stove, decides to move out. She was asking for her security deposit to be returned. When the landlord refuses to return Lena's security deposit, which was twice the amount of her monthly rent, Lena files a lawsuit in small claims court. At the trial, the landlord claims Lena breached the lease, moving out prior to its termination date and not giving the required 30 days notice prior to moving out. So here the court is making an explanation that some notices were missing, some information was missing. Maybe Lena has not told each and everything to the landlord, or the landlord is not taking any corrective part on the repair and is not working according to the lease agreement. So as this is important to Lena's ability to live comfortable in her home, the landlord failed to fix the problem. Lena has the right to move to a new home because she was not bound, but she is bound to be entitled to receive a return of her security deposit. Now, here first of all we'll discuss about what is a lease agreement. A lease agreement is a legal contract used when a party conveys land or personal property to another party for a specific amount of time in return for payment. I am reading again. A lease agreement is a legal contract used when a party conveys land or personal property to another property for a specific amount of time in return for payment. That is, when the period is over, your payment would be returned. Former lease agreements are legally binding on both parties, and breach of agreement, that is, if any of the conditions of the agreement is not followed or failed to follow, it will uphold the provisions of the agreement and would have legal results. A good example of lease agreement terms pertains to rental properties. For example, when John leases a house from David, he signs a lease agreement that specifies the location of the home, the monthly payment amount, the duration of the lease, and any other requirements of the parties, such as a ban on pets. The lease is legally binding, so if John moves out early, he may be held liable to pay for the entire length of the lease, even though he is no longer living there. We can take another example here. Many of you or some of you are known must be living in PG, right? Paying guest. They're living as a paying guest. So there are certain rules and regulations, like you cannot come late night, you cannot switch on your television at a very high pitched sound, you cannot bring pet in the house, you cannot cook non-veg in the house, you cannot have parties, late night parties in the house. So if you follow the rules, you are able to continue with the lease agreement. Otherwise, it is a breach on the part of the lease agreement. Now, here is a format of a residential tenancy agreement. Tenancy means kiraya. Here, landlords' names are entered, their address, telephone names, tenant number 1, 2, 3. Like, suppose if there is a building and upon the building it is written PG house, right? Paying guest house. So, if there are 4 rooms, then it may be 4 persons are living there, or it is shared by another 4 also. So, then the tenant would become 8 in number. So, detail of each and every tenant is filled in the form, their addresses, their contact numbers, their permanent locations, they all are filled. For example, when it comes to the residual value of a leased car, for example, it equals the estimated value of the car at the end of the lease. A bank believes that a $32,000 car has a residual value of $15,000 at the end of the lease term. The lessee would need to pay $17,000 difference. Like if you talk about Toyota, so it has a 70 to 74% residual values. If we talk about Honda cars, it has 67% residual value. If you talk about another model of Toyota RAV4, it will have 65% of residual value. So amount that a company expects to receive for an asset at the end of its service life less than any anticipated disposal cost. In accounting, the residual value is an estimated amount that a company can acquire when they dispose of an asset at the end of its useful life. So before discussing the causes, let me give you an example. Suppose you have 2 options. You want to buy Renault Kwid or you want to buy Hyundai Sentro. You will go for which option? Hyundai or Renault? I know maximum of you will put your thumb for Hyundai. Reason is it has a resale value. And there are many causes which will reduce the value of the car. Suppose at present it is costing 6,50,000. So when you want to sell it, when you want to replace it, when you want to change it, it will be deteriorated, right? It may be deteriorated due to wear and tear, destruction, decay, obsolescence, inadequacy, affluction of time, depletion, exhaustion, fall in price. Causes of depreciation. Let us take a simple example. You will not sell a new car purchased today at the same price a year after or so. Or think, you can't even sell a new car at the same price when it comes out of a showroom. This fall in value is called depreciation. First cause is physical wear and tear. When the fixed assets are put to use, the value of such assets may decrease. Such decrease in the value of assets is said to be physical wear and tear. For example, your home, vehicles, land, building, equipments, with the passage of time. So, when the assets are exposed to the forces of nature like weather, winds, rains, etc., the value of such assets may decrease even if they are not put to any use. So here we can say that, so here when we are discussing about the passage of time, so when you actually perform the changes in the value of asset, it is due to the reasons, that is because of the time passes. When the assets are exposed to the forces of nature like weather, winds, rain, etc., the value of such assets may decrease even they are not put to any use. For example, furniture. Next we have changes in economic environment. The value of an asset may decrease due to decrease in the demand of the asset. The demand of the asset may decrease due to technological changes, changes in the habits of consumers, etc. For example, usage of computers, laptops, radios, etc. Expiration of legal rights. When the use of an asset, for example, patents, leases, is governed by the time-bound arrangement, the value of such assets may decrease with the passage of time. Let us take an example here. When you purchase a new car, it is purchased today at the same price a year after or so. Or think you can't even sell a new car at the same price when it comes out of a showroom. This fall in value is known as depreciation. So some of its causes are physical wear and tear with the passage of time, changes in economic environment, and expiration of legal rights. So here comes a question. Let us take an example. X corporation purchases a special deluxe machine for 60,000. It has an estimated salvage value of 10,000 and also a useful life of 5 years. How will X calculate straight line depreciation for the machine for the year ending? So calculation here would be purchase price minus salvage value, that is 60,000 minus 10,000, that is 50,000 rupees. In the question it is narrated that its useful life is 5 years. So here to calculate the depreciation we have to divide the amount of depreciation with useful life. So when 50,000 is divided by 5 years, the depreciation value would come out rupees 10,000 per year. Next, the concept is of amortizing. Amortizing an intangible asset. For example, you own a patent. But first of all, let me clear you what is a patent. But all of you have a book with you. So on the book, you can see that it is written SC, Sultan Chand, KP, Kalyani Publishers, S. Chand, Goyal Publications. So what is it? It's a kind of patent. Now, if you own a patent on a machine, that patent lasts 20 years. You spend 20,000 to design and create the machine. And for creating that machine, your initial cost of the patent is added. You should record $1,000 each year as an amortization expense for the patent. So it would be like $20,000, that is the amount which you have spent, divided by the total number of years for which you want to use it. So here it would become 1,000 for every year. Next, we can also take an example of amortizing a loan. I have a loan of $5,000 which is outstanding. If I pay $1,000 of the principal every year, 1,000 of the loan has amortized each year. So we should record $1,000 each year in our books as an amortization expense. In business, amortization refers to spreading payments over multiple periods. The term is used for two separate processes: amortization of loans, amortization of assets. In the latter case, it refers to allocating the cost of an intangible asset over a period of time. Examples of intangible assets that are expensed through amortization might include patents and trademarks. For example, National Labs purchases a patent at a cost of $60,000 on June 30. National estimates the useful life of the patent to be 8 years. Prepared the journal entry to record the amortization for the 6 months period ended December 31. So here cost was $60,000. When divided by 8, it gives you an annual expense of $7,500, and when it is calculated for 6 months, it just cost him $3,750. So entry would be amortization expenses account debit to patent account. Now, how to account for the cost and amortization of intangible assets other than goodwill? Intangible assets, that is assets which have no physical form and special rights. For examples, patents, copyrights, trademarks, franchises and licenses. They are amortized over useful life, typical straight line. For example, amortization expense for a $20,000 intangible with a 5-year life would be $4,000 per year. So here in this case, patents or copyrights account debit to cash account, amortization expense account debit to patents and copyrights account. Next topic is to discuss about the objectives of providing depreciation. First is true cost of production. Second, depreciation helps you to find out the correct income. It will give you a true and fair view of financial position of the business. You can even file with the complaint procedure if you are not agreed with any lease agreement or amortization contract. Assets can be replaced if they are depreciated at a high rate. Moreover, it helps you to keep your capital intact, and tax planning can be done with the help of providing depreciation on the assets. First of all, ascertainment of true profits. When an asset is purchased, it is nothing more than a payment in advance for an expense. For example, if a building is purchased for $10,000 for business, the effect for such a purchase will be saving in the cost of rent in the future. But after a certain number of years, the building will become useless. The cost of the building is therefore nothing except paying rent in advance for a period of years. If the rent has been paid, it would have been charged as an expense for determination of the true profits made by the business during a particular period. The amount paid for the purchase of building should therefore be charged over a period of time for which the asset would be serviceable. Second, presentation of true financial position. The assets get depreciated in their value over a period of time on account of various factors, as we have already discussed. In order to present a true state of affairs of the business, the assets should be shown in the balance sheet at their proper values. Next, I have replacement of assets. Assets used in the business need replacement after the expiry of their service life. By providing depreciation, a part of the profits of the business is kept in the business, which can be used for purchase of new assets on the old fixed assets which become useless. So, the objectives of providing depreciation are ascertaining of true profits, presentation of true financial position, and the third is replacement of assets. Next, we have to discuss here the factors which help in determining depreciation. The following costs have to be considered when determining depreciation: cost of an asset, purchase price of the asset, transportation cost to get the asset to the purchaser's premises, insurance on the purchase of an asset, taxes on the purchase of an asset, installation cost of asset, useful life of asset, scrap value or salvage value or the residual value of the asset. So, following are the important factors which should be considered for determining the amount of depreciation. First is cost of asset. The cost of asset includes purchase price less any trade discount plus all the costs essential to bring the asset to a usable condition. In other words, the total cost of an asset includes right from the purchase price to the installation charges. Suppose you buy an air conditioner, you pay the price of the air conditioner, but its installation, its fixation, and the proper starting up of the air conditioner is included in the cost of the asset. Next we have estimated scrap value. Scrap value refers to the value estimated to be realized after the expiry of the useful working life of the asset. Suppose if we take example of the same air conditioner which you have been using for the last 10-12 years, that you have bought for 35,000. Now what does it values give you after you resell it is known as its scrap value. Cost of an asset minus scrap value. An asset cannot work forever. Every asset has a certain working and useful life. The longer the working life, the amount of depreciation will be lower, and vice versa. Therefore, the useful life of an asset is generally to be taken in terms of asset's expected use. This estimated useful life of an asset determines the rate on amount of depreciation. Next, we have legal provisions. The amount of depreciation also depends upon the statutory and legal provisions prescribing the admissible rate of depreciation on fixed assets. There are four main factors that affect the calculation of depreciation expense: asset cost, salvage value or the scrap value, useful life, and obsolescence. Obsolescence is change in fashion, change in trend. For example, let us assume you buy a car for $20,000. You believe that the car would last for 15 years. After that, the car is probably run into the ground and its next stop is junkyard. So the salvage value of the car is the price a junkyard or recycler might pay you for the old non-working car. For example, let us assume a company XYZ purchases a piece of machinery for $1 million, and that piece of machinery is expected to last for 10 years. After 10 years, the machinery is estimated to be worth say $10,000. Thus, the company XYZ would record a depreciation expense equals to $9,90,000 over 10 years. Salvage value is the estimated book value of an asset after depreciation is complete, based on what a company expects to receive in exchange for the asset at the end of its useful life. As such, an asset's estimated salvage value is an important component in the calculation of a depreciation schedule. Obsolescence. The process of becoming outdated or no longer being economically feasible, often caused by technology advances or change in fashion. Inventory or any business asset becomes obsolete when the item is no longer salvable or useful. This results in a loss of value to the business holding the item. For example, personal computers and computer chips from 1990 are obsolete even though they can be operated. Holding inventory of electronic components will often result in losses because of obsolescence. Limiting the life of a light bulb as per the Phoebus Cartel. Coming out with a new model of a car every year with minor changes. Short-lasting nylon stockings. Irreplaceable batteries in technical products. The inability to refill an ink cartridge in a printer. So these are all some examples of obsolescence. Now we can separate physical deterioration, the 5 primary types of obsolescence, like technological obsolescence, functional obsolescence, legal obsolescence, aesthetic obsolescence, and economic obsolescence. Technological obsolescence, as you can see in the pic here, from the usage of radios. These days we are using tab, iPads, Android phones, a rickshaw or a buggy in the beginning when wheel was invented, and nowadays we are using hi-fi model cars. So technological obsolescence includes bronze replacing flint in hand tools, DVDs replacing video cassettes, transistors replaced vacuum tubes in TV and radio receivers in the 1960s, and the telephone replacing the telegraph. The following assets are prone to technological obsolescence. Electronic systems such as security CCTV and access control equipment are most susceptible to this dynamic. Fire alarm systems such as control panels, elevator systems, particularly the electronic controls. For example, CPUs frequently become obsolete in favor of newer, faster units. Buggy whips became obsolete when people started traveling in cars rather than horse-drawn buggies. When a technical product or service is no longer needed or wanted, even though it could still be in working order, technological obsolescence generally occurs when a new product has been created to replace an older version. So here you can see a house of 1960 and compare it with now of 21st century like 2020. So there is a challenger differences between the houses built in 1960s and 2020s. You people must be agree with this, right? Next we have functional obsolescence. It is the reduction of an object's usefulness or desirability because of an outdated design feature that cannot be easily changed. Examples of functional obsolescence are outdated home styles, outdated fixtures, or homes with only one bathroom. Unusual floor plans can also fall under the category of functional obsolescence. These undesirable features may be curable because they can be fixed at a reasonable cost, like outdated fixtures, or these features may be incurable because they cannot be fixed without major cost or renovations, like a home style. From petrol fuel engine three-wheelers to diesel fuel engines to CNG, and to now we are also using battery operated rickshaws. So in order to control pollution and maintain law and order, these have been replaced and environment is protected. Next we have legal obsolescence, one of the 5 primary types of obsolescence and a force of retirement of assets. Legislation or other directive order issued by an authority having jurisdiction resulting in the prohibitive use of certain assets unless specified changes are introduced or renewal is carried out. An order to replace bottom type hydraulic elevator cylinders with PVC encapsulated cylinders, removal or abatement of asbestos material, fire regulations requiring the replacement of dry sprinkler compressors that are older than 15 years. So these are some examples which can create legal obsolescence. Next we have examples of aesthetic or style obsolescence. Such product categories include automobiles with a strict yearly schedule of new models, the almost entirely style-driven clothing industry riding the fashion cycle, the mobile phone industries with constant minor feature enhancements and restyling. So these are few examples which can be a part of aesthetic obsolescence. When a product or asset like lobby furnishing cars is no longer desirable to the owner because it has gone out of popular fashion, its style is considered to be obsolete. It is principally a matter of aesthetics and not one of performance function. Like floor finishes, particularly carpet and tiles, artwork, wall coverings, window coverings, drapes, blinds, wall sconces, pendants, and new types of light fixtures. So here we can add a new slide also where we can show these style obsolescence with the help of pics. Like these days people use to floor their houses with the help of tiles rather than with the use of marbles. These days they used to go with branded antique artwork, right? Marketing may be driven primarily by aesthetic design. Product categories in this case display a fashion style. By continually introducing new designs and retargeting or discontinuing others, a manufacturer can ride the fashion cycle. Such product categories include automobiles, which show a high style obsolescence. Can we even find a 5 paisa, 10 paisa, 25 paisa or 50 paisa coins in our wallet? Even after demonetization in 2016, old 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, 1000 rupee notes, they are no longer in use due to economic obsolescence. Economic obsolescence can be caused by larger factors as well. For example, economic factors such as a recession or depression, or when a factory nearby closes and hundreds of people lose their jobs and local properties drop in price. This is an example of economic obsolescence. Economic obsolescence is the loss of value resulting from external economic factors to an asset or group of assets. Economic obsolescence is often encountered in valuation work performed for financial reporting purposes, bankruptcy, emergence, and in other practice areas when dealing with companies in capital intensive industries. So here we have to cover three concepts: depreciation, depletion, and amortization. Depreciation is wear and tear of a physical asset in case of equipments, tools. Then depletion, exhaustion of the supply of resource like coal mines. Then amortization, extension of an intangible asset like patent, copyright. So next we have depletion. Depletion means decreasing in strength. It is an accounting and text concept used most often in mining, timber, petroleum, or other similar industries. Depletion is similar to depreciation in that it is a cost recovery system for accounting and text reporting. Depletion is an accrual accounting technique used to allocate the cost of extracting natural resources such as timber, minerals, and oil from the earth. Like depreciation and amortization, depletion is a non-cash expense that lowers the cost value of an asset incrementally through scheduled charges to income. So here we can conclude the useful life of the asset and its salvage value is important for calculating depreciation. An estimate of a longer useful life reduces depreciation and hence increases the net income. A higher amount of the salvage value also decreases depreciation and raises the net income. This standard applies to all depreciable assets except the following items, to which special consideration apply: forest, plantation, regenerative natural resources, wasting assets, including expenditure on the exploration for extraction of minerals, oils, natural gas, and similar non-regenerative resources, expenditure on research and development, goodwill and other intangible assets, livestock. This standard also does not apply to land unless it has limited useful life for the enterprise. So in this presentation, we have covered meaning, features, causes, and objectives for providing depreciation, factors or basis of providing depreciation, methods of recording depreciation, methods of charging depreciation, difference between SLM and WDV. Read the chapter thoroughly, follow the given reference links so that you can know about the concept of depreciation in detail. So here we have to conclude our presentation by making a questions list. Define depreciation, give examples. Give any three objectives of providing depreciation. What do you mean by scrap value? What do you mean by depletion? Give example of things in this category. Define the term amortization. How do I compute the units of production method of depreciation? What is the accounting treatment for an asset that is fully depreciated but continues to be used in a business? What is the difference between assets and fixed assets? Where does the purchase of equipment show up on a profit and loss statement? Which things value is not depreciated in a business? Thank you, class. Read your chapter thoroughly. Plan your pages properly so that you can know the concept of depreciation in detail. Thank you, class.